Thank you everyone for coming. We are going to be discussing security and protection of your LinkedIn account in 2024. Just a couple of words about me. It will only take about an hour or so. No, I'm joking. I'll be quick about it. I've been involved in technology in one way or another for over 40 years. And in the last 24 years, I've run my own technology company. I gave a couple of speaking engagements locally here in person in Florida and over Zoom more than I care to remember. I'm an Amazon bestseller twice, and I often get asked by TV stations and newspapers for my perspective and advice on cybersecurity. But enough about myself, let's start. LinkedIn, some fun facts about LinkedIn. LinkedIn turned 20 years old last year. They're going to be celebrating 21 years old. They are legally, they can be drinking in May, 5th of May. LinkedIn has 875 million members around the world. 52 million people every week search for jobs on LinkedIn. There's 101 job applications are submitted every second on LinkedIn. It is the most used social platform among the top 500 companies of the world. And 40% of the active users on LinkedIn use it on a daily basis. It's a B2B goldmine. And because there are close to 1 billion users, it has become a hacker's paradise. One of the first largest breaches of data in the history of the internet was the LinkedIn breach of 2012. June 2012, over 6 million LinkedIn accounts were compromised. Username, email address, passwords, clear text passwords were stolen from them, and it caused a huge uproar in the internet. The ability of LinkedIn to target audience by their job puts it as the top organic and paid social network for B2B marketers, and where the money flows, so do the hackers. We all know that. Everyone is doing it. And another one fun fact is there are over 9 billion content impressions every week. It's 9 with 9 zeros. That's a big, big number. So the question is, why do I need to be protected on LinkedIn? And the answers, which we are going to give you in the webinar today, are going to be about setting who has access to your activity feed, whether they should know all your professional connections and groups you are connected to, limiting their access to your personal information if you wanted to, and what do you stand to lose if your account gets hacked. It's 2034. Cyber attacks are way up. January is not over yet, and yesterday we hit 200 companies who were hacked in North America. Last year, the whole of January, we had less than that. So it looks like January is going to be another record month for hackers. There are a couple of reasons for that. AI is increasingly getting better and smarter. Hackers make use of AI to break through all the defenses that we have. The biggest defense that we have, and I touch a little bit about it later on, is common sense. It's amazing for me to see every time that we get involved when somebody comes and says, I've been hacked, can you help us? It's amazing for me to see how simple common sense could have stopped that. The reason hackers are able to go over this or to pierce through common sense is because they use tactics that AI is helping them to really hack the person. You spent a lot of time building your online presence. You've spent a lot of time creating a great LinkedIn profile, whether you use it for business, whether you use it to find a job, whether you use it to find vendors or customers. You don't want it to go to waste. And at the hand of hackers, losing access to your LinkedIn account can be a serious threat to your reputation and security. So let's make sure we are doing everything that we can to mitigate the risk and protect ourselves. Before we start, I promise you these barcodes are safe to scan. This specific one is going to our LinkedIn page, the Blue Light IT LinkedIn page. I ask you to take just a second, scan the barcode, and hit the follow button on the Blue Light IT company page. We regularly post critical security updates and general knowledge about cybersecurity, which I think is important for you to find out about. Without further ado, open up your LinkedIn app on your phone. Follow my prompts. This is a step-by-step webinar where I show you exactly what you need to do. On your screen, on the left-hand side, you will see the iOS devices, all the Apple devices, iPhones, tablet, iPads. And on the right is how the LinkedIn app is showing on an Android device. So what you want to do once the LinkedIn app is open is just go and hit the face, your icon, your image on the top left-hand side. And once you do that, you're going to see the screen that tells you your name and a couple of things. And at the bottom left, I want you to touch the settings button. Once you touch the settings button, it will take you to the settings page. And we're going to start with sign-in security. So sign-in and security, you choose this option. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see where you are signed in from. Once you touch where you signed in from, you will see a screen similar to the one I have. We've removed some of the information for privacy, obviously. But it will tell you you're signed into one session or 2 or 3 or 4 or 50, depending on how many devices you signed in and where you are signed in from. It will show you your current session, which is the device you are currently using, and it will show you if you have more than one. It will show you other locations. I want you to take a moment and go through these locations and see if there is something that you don't know or you cannot recognize. For example, if you are sitting in New York right now and you have a session that's logged in from California or Florida or somewhere in Europe, and you know it's not yours, I want you to go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and remove that section. We're going to pop up a poll quickly on the screen now, if my team cooperates with me. And this is what the poll looks like. And I want you to tell me, were there any unrecognized devices logged into your account? Just hit yes or no, and we're going to collect that information and share it with you after the webinar. Just some internal statistics here to see how effective our things are. Awesome. So I know some people have a couple of locations to remove, and we'll give them just a second to continue with that. We are right on time. So we have a question from Hamed. I'm signed in on my phone and my office computer only, but I see many sessions. Hamed, if that is the case, you need to make a mental note. I want you to change your password the moment you can. In about 10 minutes, we'll enable two-factor authentication on your account, and that should take care of your security, but you want to make sure that all those sessions are removed. So if you click on a session, you'll see a remove button, and you can just delete it like that. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always hit the Q&A button, and we will answer them live. Moving on. Hit that arrow on the top left, and it will take you back to the setting page. I want you to select settings and security. We are going to check what email addresses you currently have associated with your LinkedIn account. Go ahead and click the email address, and you will see a list of the email addresses that you use with LinkedIn. The reason why we cover this is I had a person that came to us because the LinkedIn account was hacked, and he wanted to find out how it was hacked. He couldn't figure it out. We managed to get back access to his account, and when we went to the list of email addresses, there were 4 email addresses there. 1 which was his current, and 3 were businesses that 1 was a business he worked for, and 2 were failed businesses that he had. The business that he had worked for also went belly up at one point or another. The owners sold the domain to somebody else, and the person on the other side started getting emails in his catch-all email account, and he started getting notifications from LinkedIn about this person's account, and he was able to go ahead, reset the password, and basically hack his account. There were no malicious actions that were taken, but if you have email addresses here that you do not recognize or are old and no longer relevant, please, please, please remove them. It's a point of entry for hackers or for kids who are just playing around and don't need to be there. Once you've removed all your email addresses, you can touch again the top left arrow. It will take you back to the account access, and we're now going to do the same thing for phone numbers. Again, on the left, iOS devices, on the right, Android devices. If you see more than your current mobile device here, and you don't recognize the phone numbers, go ahead and remove them. I want to talk a little bit about risk here. You see a green button, or you see a switch that says use for resetting password. On the screen here, it says on. The risk here is that you are basically saying, using this phone number, I'm allowing to reset my password. The problem here is if you lose access to your phone, if you lose the phone, if you change the number and you don't know, you do not remember that you used that number for your LinkedIn account, okay? Whoever gets your number may, at one point or another, be able to reset your password and lock you out. Again, there's no real recommendation here besides using your common sense. For me, it's set to on because I'm not planning to change my mobile number anytime soon. We're going to pop up another poll here. It's going to be poll number 3 because we missed poll number 2. Okay, so that's a poll 1 and 2. There's 2 questions here. Did you have any old emails saved that you had to remove? And did you have any old phone numbers saved that you had to remove? We really appreciate it if you take a moment and answer those questions. It helps us for our statistics later on, and we will post about it. We don't know who answers which questions. These are anonymous responses. But we'll be able to provide you in a nice post the webinar, what are the statistics are like. Moving on, you are protected, right? Was that easy or what? Again, just a reminder, if you don't mind, hit the follow button on our page. You can scan the barcode that will take you to the Blue Light IT LinkedIn page. And you can hit the follow button so you get regular updates from us. Next up, we're going to talk about the most important security feature with regards not only to LinkedIn, but any other secure social platform, any other email platform, any other online platform that you have. And that action is two-factor authentication. It is the most important action that you can take to protect an online account. And it's amazing for me to know that most of the hacks that we see for LinkedIn, for Facebook and for other social media is because two-factor authentication was not enabled. So by enabling that, you're going to be more secure than most people. Let's go back to the settings page. If you don't see the settings page right now on your screen, just hit the top left arrow. Or if you need to go back to LinkedIn homepage and click on your profile and click setting, you'll get back to this page. And I want you to touch the sign in security. From there, almost at the bottom of the screen, there's a two-step verification. You can see here it's off. We're going to turn it on now. This is a little bit more involved than the steps we've done before because I'm going to ask you in a moment to download an Authenticator app. If you already have that, you can skip that. If your two-factor authentication has not been set up, go ahead and click the setup button. It will send you an email with a code, with a 6-digit code to verify that it really is you. LinkedIn goes through 2 steps of verification here to make sure that you are really the person you say you are. The first one is sending a code to your email. And the second one will be to actually enter your LinkedIn password, and hopefully you have it stored somewhere and you remember it. If you've clicked the request email button, then it should be in your inbox already. I'll just give those with slightly slower email accounts just a few more seconds. When you get the code, you can either copy it and paste it from your email app to your LinkedIn app, or you can tap it in the keyboard. Here we have Racheli saying that the hacker took over her account with two-factor authentication enabled. It's possible that we can discuss this offline, Racheli, and figure out how it happened. But the steps we are going to take now will minimize that risk. Excuse me. Moving on, I'm assuming that you have already managed to get the two-factor, the code that was sent to your email. And on the next screen, after you click the submit button, you can choose the verification method. And we recommend using the Authenticator app and not any other method. SMS is extremely not secure for this. So we're going to use the Authenticator app. You're going to hit continue. And it's going to ask you, like I mentioned earlier, to enter your LinkedIn password. Go ahead and enter your LinkedIn password here. Again, I will give you a few seconds to enter the password. And excuse me. What we're going to do next is we're going to, the app will provide us with a secret key. It's a code. If I've gone too fast and you lost me, don't despair, don't worry, try and catch up. You'll get a recording later and you'll be able to go and do it at your own pace, which might be a little bit slower. So go ahead and click the two blue squares there. It will copy the secret key into the clipboard of the phone. Click continue, and LinkedIn is gonna wait for you to enter a 6-digit code, which will get generated by the Authenticator app, which is here. Here, I'm giving you an option of either the Google Authenticator or the Microsoft Authenticator. I hope that by now you already have one of them. If you have a third one, that's also good. You can use any Authenticator app. All of them will work. If you don't have, go ahead and scan the barcode. There's no preference here. Both Authenticator apps are good. If you are primarily a Google user, go ahead and use the Google Authenticator. If you're primarily a Microsoft user, go ahead and use the Microsoft Authenticator. Scanning this will take you to the App Store. Go ahead and install the app. And once the app is installed, this is what we're going to see on the screen. On the left-hand side, we're going to see the screen of the Google Authenticator, and on the right-hand side, we're going to see the Microsoft Authenticator. And I'm on purpose delaying this section a little bit because I want to let the people who had to download the app and get it installed an opportunity to add the app. And we should all have the app up and running by now. On the Google Authenticator, click the blue button that says Add a Code. And on the Microsoft Authenticator, you can hit the plus button on the top right. You're going to choose to enter a setup key, or on the Google Authenticator, on the Microsoft, you're going to choose the other account. And here you're going to name the account, put it in LinkedIn. And the next, we're going to paste the key that we have in the clipboard. Just simply hold down the button and it will pop up the paste, and hit the paste and it will paste the secret code, and then click add or finish depending on the Authenticator app that you have. And it's going to generate for you a 6-digit code. The 6-digit code is valid for 30 seconds. It goes red in the last 5 or 6 seconds. If it's red, wait for it to turn into blue. Touch the code once, it will be saved into your clipboard, and we're going to go back into the LinkedIn app and paste the verification code and hit the verify button. If you followed all the steps up until now and everything was fine, you're going to get this screen, which basically says that two-factor authentication has been turned on, and you're all set with 2FA. If the verification code on this screen failed, simply go back to the Authenticator app, copy the code again, and paste it again. Congratulations, you are now better protected than the majority of the LinkedIn community. Again, wasn't this easy? Next, almost done. I promise you we're almost done. I really thank you for staying with me so far. Visibility as to who can see your account and the details about your account. So go back into the settings page and click the visibility button. From the visibility button, and again, I'm just reminding, the Apple LinkedIn is on the left, the Android is on the right. Touching that, you will see a screen visibility of your profile and network. We're going to go through some of the options here, not all of them. You can take your time later and make a decision based, again, on common sense. But let's see who can see or download your email address, right? So your email address, if it's publicly available on LinkedIn, you're going to get a lot of spam messages from people who want your business, want you to buy things from them. So by clicking the who can see or download your email address, here you can see that 4 options, anyone on LinkedIn at the bottom, first and second degree connections, first degree connections only, or only visible to me. If you want to have your email address shared with everyone, like Joe is doing on the slide here, then you select only visible, you select anyone on LinkedIn. If you want everyone to see it, if you want no one to be able to have access to your email address, you will select only visible to me. Again, personal preferences is totally to do with your own personal preferences. Let's go back to the screen. So hit the top left button again and click the connections option. And this will determine the connection visibility. Basically, this feature came about because LinkedIn gives you the ability to either let everyone see who all your connections are or not. I personally had this connection on many, many years ago, and I was wondering why random people would want to connect with me. And then I realized that they weren't interested in me, but they were interested in the network, in my LinkedIn network. So by me giving them access to my network, then I can make 1 + 1 and connect this person with that person. And basically try and go and connect with whoever I'm connected with. So if you don't want your connection visibility to be available to everyone who is your first degree connection, simply turn it off. I would recommend you to turn it off. If you want to leave it on or you're not worried about that, you can just leave it on. The third option is who can see members you follow. And again, two options, only visible to me or anyone on LinkedIn. Again, this is a personal preference, and we're not going to go through any more visibility here, but you can see on the screen that you can hide your last name. You can see who you represent in terms of organization and interest. There's a lot of personal information here that you simply go through the options. There's about a dozen or so options here. And you want to go through these options and use your common sense and decide whether you want it turned on or off. We now have, excuse me, we now have one last step. That is the step that for devices that have your password remembered. So this will be browsers that you use or other devices that you use that remember your password. So you're going to go back into the sign in and security page off of the settings page and hit devices that remember your password. And when I say hit, don't hit your phone, please. Simply touch the device that remember your password. And on the screen, there aren't any. You should not have any listed here. And if you do, I want you to remove them, even if you know what the device is. We've strengthened your security. We've enabled two-factor authentication. There should not be any remember devices here. We have, I think, one last poll. If Joe can bring in the last poll about two-factor authentication. Or not. Okay, let's see if the poll will come up. Right, so that was easy, right? We've enabled all the security updates that LinkedIn allows us to put in 2024. This is a little thing that I wrote a few minutes ago about cybersecurity. I'm very passionate about security in general and cybersecurity especially. And I want to tell you that cybersecurity is really a community effort. There are a lot of people who don't know anything about this. I recently did a webinar about Facebook security and how to improve the Facebook security. I gave it in the Dominican Republic to one of my clients. And a lot of the people came in and asked, please send us a recording or the slides. We want to give it to our family and friends. So please discuss cybersecurity with your family and friends. Make them aware of the risks. If you know people that weren't able to attend the webinar, either show them what to do, or ask them to go ahead and follow Blue Light IT, and we'll send them a link to the webinar. There's going to be a recording. So yeah, you too can become an ambassador of cybersecurity in your community. And I encourage you to do so, because the more awareness we have about cybersecurity, the less damage hackers are going to do. And when they see that they have unsuccessful actions, hacking eventually will stop. I know it's a big dream of mine. I know I'm being realistic, and I know it's not going to happen. But the more people we can reach to, the better it is for the community. I have another question that came in. Great tips, and Guy updated his account. Thank you, Amir. It's my pleasure. And pro tip, now that you have secured your LinkedIn account, I want you to think about all your Hotmail accounts and Yahoo accounts and all these email accounts that you set up eons ago and you forgot about, or you haven't accessed them in a while, or you don't use them on a regular basis. I know I have at least one Hotmail account and Yahoo account that I'd never use. These accounts can be compromised. And I ask you to go and log into these platforms and update your passwords and set up two-factor authentication. I'm being told that the two-factor authentication poll is ready. So if you can pop that up on the screen, please. Excellent. So this is our wrap-up poll. If you don't mind, take a second and tell us whether 2FA was already set up on your account or not. If you feel that your LinkedIn account is more secure now, or it made no difference to you, and would you recommend a colleague to watch the recording of this webinar? And of course, just to see if the value that we bring is worth it for people, would you like to be invited to the next webinar? The next webinar hasn't been finalized yet, but we know it's going to take place on a very special day on February 29th. The theme around it is don't wait 4 years to implement your cybersecurity, because of course, February 29th only comes once in 4 years. If you think that your LinkedIn account is hacked, you can go to this LinkedIn address or scan the barcode, and LinkedIn will help you. You can report it and ask for help from LinkedIn. And that's it for me. We have a couple of questions which I'm going to go through now. Again, you can contact us on our website, bluelightit.com. You can call our office on 561-282-2225 and 2225, or you can scan the barcode to our Contact Us page. We have a question, excellent question, Casey. How often do you recommend checking active sessions? So it's not something that you need to do on a regular basis. I would say once every 2-3 months is fine, as long as you've got the two-factor authentication on and you've gone through all the settings and removed everything that is not there. Every time somebody is going to try and log into your LinkedIn, they will get a prompt to enter two-factor verification. If you have that not going to an app, but to your email, then you will get an email from LinkedIn to say, somebody requested access to your account. Do you want to grant them? So you will know exactly where you have people logging in from. It depends. If you want to be fanatic about it, you can check it once a week, once a month. I personally have various other systems that monitor my social media. So I just manually check it once every quarter. I can sit here and talk all day long, but if there are any other questions, here comes another question. A question from Bill. Once two-step verification is set up, what is the process for logging in? Also, I live in VIP and saw that I was logged in only once to a site in California. Is this location difference usual? So unless you have a VPN, this is not a usual behavior. You can sign yourself out of the location and simply log back in on your device. It's possible that your IP address comes up as California, even though you're in Texas. What I would do is I would go in on my mobile device and log in, not through Wi-Fi, but through your mobile provider, and that should give you a good location for you, and you can test it from there. To be on the safe side, Bill, I would say remove that location, and then if you are kicked out of your account, maybe it's on the desktop, you simply log in. We have another question. Why is SMS not good to set up two-factor authentication? And again, great question. SMS can be compromised by doing a PIN swap, by doing a SIM swap. We hear a lot about hacks where big companies lose access to some of their accounts because a user's SIM was replaced. We have somebody that reached out to one of our partners, and the call ended up on our desk. It's a construction, a GC company up north that had a mobile device for their business. The owner used to switch off the mobile device on a Friday and turn it on a Monday. My partner up north was trying to talk him into improving his cybersecurity for months, and he didn't want to do it. And my partner gets a call on the Monday and says, it's time for us to do cybersecurity. And he asked him what happened. And the guy said, Friday, I switched off my phone. Monday morning, I opened it up. The phone wasn't working. I called my provider. My provider told me that I reported the phone as stolen, and they issued me a new SIM. And the first thing that hit me, the contractor says, the first thing that hit me is the conversation I had with the cybersecurity specialist. And the second thing that he did was log into a bank account, and all his investments were sold. The money was converted into Bitcoin, and he lost a huge sum of money. Over $500,000 was lost in the span of a weekend. So SMS is not a good idea. The Authenticator app is much secure. The next question we have, do you know if LinkedIn checks for anomalies? No, LinkedIn does not check for anomalies. There are systems that can check for that, but that's part of a complete cybersecurity solution, and it's out of scope for this webinar. I promised everyone that joined the webinar, it's not going to be a sales webinar. I don't want to sell anything here, but there is a solution for that. It's not provided by LinkedIn. God, you are full of questions today. Awesome. What steps should your user take if they suspect they have fallen victim to a phishing attack on LinkedIn? Great question. The first thing you would do is log into your LinkedIn account and change your passwords. If you've fallen to a phishing attack on LinkedIn itself, so you saw a post on LinkedIn, you clicked on a link, and it took you to a Microsoft login page, a Google login page, a LinkedIn login page, whatever it is. If you realize that you've lost credentials, the first thing to do is contact your cybersecurity expert, contact your IT administrator, contact the company where you lost the information to, and tell them you want your account locked and re-verified. There's a whole process around incident response to hacks like this. In LinkedIn specifically, because we are talking about LinkedIn here, for LinkedIn specifically, you are going to scan that link that I had a few slides back and report it to LinkedIn. We have another question. I don't fully understand the consequences of having a device that remembers my password. Can you talk more about why you suggest removing all devices? So now that you have set up two-factor authentications and you've increased your security, devices that were logged in before should be enforced to use the two-factor authentication. When you do that, then you know that any new device that logs in has two-factor authentication enforced. So you might have a browser on a home computer that you use once every 6 months, and that's logged into LinkedIn and remembers the password. And so when you open up LinkedIn, it automatically logs you in. You don't know for sure whether this device has gone through two-factor authentication or not. I'm not saying removing those devices every time, but for right now, because we've increased the security of the account, it's better to kick all those devices off and then just simply log back in if this is a device that you use. I hope I answered your question, and if not, please give a follow-up question. While I have some of you still here, I hope that you have derived some value from this. If you did, I would love to hear about it in comments on LinkedIn. If you didn't, I'd also like to hear about it on LinkedIn. And if there are no more questions, I will bid you farewell. 2 minutes late. I promised myself this will be 40 minutes. We are on 42 minutes. So again, if there are no more questions, thank you everyone for attending. I hope you enjoyed seeing this as much as I've enjoyed delivering it. And stay safe out there.